Oh, there we are. Hi, everybody. Sorry for the technical delays there. It's a live thing. These things happen. Welcome to Talking October Movies. As you can see behind me here, I'm very ready for the spooky season. But before we begin, let me introduce myself. My name is Matt McGinnis. I'm one of the members of the Blobfest Planning Committee and proud of it. Been attending Blobfest since 2005, and I'm proud to be part of the team of volunteers that help make Blobfest happen every year. So, welcome. If you're joining us at home, we are so happy to be talking all the spooky, kooky kind of things that are coming to the Colonial Theater for Halloween. But before we start talking about those titles, I want to introduce some very special guests who are going to be talking about these movies with me. First and foremost, is a gentleman who we introduced this year for Blobfest 2021, the House of Harris. We introduced him this year, and we just can't seem to get rid of him. It's our cross to bear. I'm talking, of course, you've probably seen him all around. I'm talking about Marvin Murdy Murch. Are you there, Murdy?
Is this thing on? Hey, there he is. That Matt McGinnis guy. What's going on there, Matty?
It's good to see you again, Marvin. How are you?
Oh, I'm just peachy keen with strawberries on top. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that actually sounds delicious. I would love some peachy keen with strawberries on top.
Oh, it's a kid's show. We can't go there.
Yes, let's try to keep this PG if we can. We're so glad to have you, Marty. You made quite a You made quite a splash during Blobfest 2021, and we're glad to have you.
Hey, it's Murdy, and I am pleased and privileged to be here once again with my lovely Blobfest fans, and we are going to have some fun talking about movies at the Colonial.
Okay, I may have some trouble hearing you. That shirt is pretty loud, but I think we'll be okay. So, oh gosh, yeah, it's coming in loud and clear. Our next guest, if you've been coming to Blobfest for years, this guy really needs no introduction, but what the heck, I'll try it anyway. He has been reporting on Blobfest for more years than I can count. He was the MC of Blobfest 2020, the home edition, and the most recent House of Harris. He also MC'd the Colonial's first virtual Halloween and Christmas events, A Nightmare on Bridge Street and the Krampus Cryptmas Spectacular, respectively. Of course, I'm talking about Dash Derek.
I'm coming to you live from inside my own library, and I'm well lubricated for the evening's events.
Oh my, kid show. All right.
TMI, Dash.
There's no TMI when you look this good.
Oh, okay.
There is a... never mind, I don't have anything clever for that. Sorry.
You got to stay on your toes, McGinnis.
I'm off the clock. What can I say? Gentlemen, it's good to see you. It's especially good to see you. Now I'm just right there on the screen. It's especially good to see you guys outside of the Colonial Theater, outside of summertime, really. We are in autumn. It is fall. And I see that...
There's a whole lot less pomade to keep this contained during the cooler months. The summertime, man, it's like a can a day.
Yeah, the humidity, I'm sure, really gets to it.
Mm-hmm.
Which reminds me, Marvin, what's your preferred hairstyle? You seem to like that fez. Is there anything we should know about under? Okay.
Wait for 2020, and I might remove the hat.
That's your incentive. If you're a VIP for Blobfest 22, you might get to see what's under the fez. Maybe. We'll think about it.
It's my Superman.
Oh my.
Look at this. Christopher Reeve ain't got nothing on this thing.
I like what I'm seeing. I really like what I'm seeing. So, Marvin, you are especially decked out for the season. You're ready for Halloween. Dash, are you preparing for the spooky season? What do you got going on?
Oh, Matt, that's a wonderful question. Dash doesn't have to prepare. Dash just does Halloween all year round. Blobfest is just summertime Halloween to Dash.
That's right. Summerween if you're a Gravity Falls fan.
Well, I am a Gravity Falls fan.
Well, there you go then. And for all our Gravity Falls fans watching at home, there you go.
I honestly don't. I saw it like once on Disney Plus. I had no idea.
I feel like you'd like it, Marvin. I don't know why, but I feel like you'd get a kick out of Gravity Falls. I don't know why.
There's something you can't place your finger on.
Just a hunch. To everybody watching at home, welcome. We are the guys who are going to be talking about October because October is a really special time at the Colonial. Blobfest, of course, is kind of the theater's tentpole yearly attraction, but every October is when I kind of feel like the theater really comes to life. And I mean that in a sort of undead kind of way. You know?
Yeah, sort of like Bela Lugosi, all up in your business, kind of undead.
Yeah, I got this little guy. Where's my knickknack? There we go. Look at that. I got knickknacks and doodads all over the place.
Wonderful place, isn't it?
If you want a knickknack doodad spring thing like you just saw Matt McGinnis hold up, but blob themed, perhaps get in the comments.
Please, where are the comments on my screen? That way, right? I don't know.
Look at that mad barbarian post-apocalyptic theater guy. That's a heck of a name to have on Facebook. Like, what's the name? What's the last name? I got no.
It's no Marvin Murdy merch, though.
No, that's true. I had to change that at the last second. Just got it under the wire. Asking me for my ID. I got to show my driver's license to change it back. The heck with that. I'm not doing that stuff.
All right. So Marvin cannot buy drinks. That's what I'm hearing. So that's what I'm understanding. Also cannot go to R-rated movies. Well, why don't we
pickle in his October at the Colonial, though? We have a ton of options that are not R-rated.
We do. So here's the great thing about seeing spooky movies at the Colonial Theater is that, yes, we do play horror movies, but we play horror movies that are really good for all generations. These are not going to be like slasher, gory, crazy, bloody movies. Instead, we're going to be showing kind of like the movies that, at least for myself, you guys can speak to this, the kind of horror movies that I grew up on. What about you guys?
Oh, they call that gateway horror now. You gotta move with the window. The gateway horror. Love that.
But no gatekeeping.
It's stuff you think you can show your kids, and then they're at 2 o'clock in the morning, they're sweating like dry ice, and they're going,
I don't know that I can answer your question, Matt, because I don't know that Dash grew up so much as was grown in a vat by Dr. Frankenstein. So to answer your question, sure, any horror is grown-up horror to me.
I like that. That's a great answer. And for you watching at home, please in the comments let us know if any of these movies stick out to you or what horror movies you grew up on. Because if you're watching this, chances are you probably grew up on something kind of weird.
I can tell you, potentially blasphemously, Dash saw the Blob remake as a child before seeing the original Blob, because I caught it randomly on cable way late at night at about, I might have been 9 years old when I saw the Blob remake, and. Yeah, so I never looked at sinks, industrial sinks again in quite the same way. They were never safe.
I concur. I worked at several restaurants, and you see that little piece of lemon floating right there in circle in the drain. You're like, yeah, it can just go. I'm not reaching down there. No. And Shawnee Smith. Woo-hoo. Nice. We got to have her at Blobfest. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, that is a fantastic idea.
You're watching. They're going up and down.
Oh, I thought that was just weird shading.
No. See, the lenses are too clean for you guys. You can't see them.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good, though. That's good. At least there's something clean about you. Anyway, why don't we talk about some of the spooky offerings that we have coming to the Colonial? Because, like, I'm looking at the list now, and frankly, I'm overwhelmed. There's just so much I want to be there for, and so much that the viewers at home are going to want to be there for. And it all kicks off this Sunday. Friday, of course, is October 1st, and the spooky season at the Colonial really kicks off this Sunday with a screening that I'm so excited for. We will be playing a 50th anniversary screening of the spooky season. I'm echoing. Oh my God, am I haunted?
Is technical difficulties over here. I got too many press.
Understood. We are starting with a 50th anniversary screening of my favorite Vincent Price flick, The Abominable Dr. Phibes.
Wow. Tell me why that's your favorite Vincent Price film, because I need to know this.
I can't really tell you because I can't explain the movie. The movie is so odd. It's an Art Deco horror crime thriller, but it's so creative. Like, it is probably one of the most creative, like the most creative kills I've ever seen in a horror film. Maybe.
You know, just a reenactment of what Moses did to the Egyptians.
Yeah.
I've seen a trailer.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Way to bring us down, Marvin. Way to just sort of like
filling
mass balloon of Vincent Price enjoyment.
For God's sake.
But it's important to know. So what makes this screening so special? Like I said, this is a 50th anniversary screening, and you might be wondering, well, why is it 50th anniversary? Well, one, movie's 50 years old this year, but also we're going to have at the top of the show, we're going to have a theater organ. Of course, the Colonial has its own Wurlitzer organ that rises up out of the stage. If you've been to Blobfest or seen our virtual events, you're familiar with that organ. But you got to see it in person. That organ is powerful. And when it hits those low notes, you feel it in your chest. Yes, Dash?
I feel like what you just said might not be family-friendly, Matt McGinnis.
Is that right?
Let us know
to make sure I'm in frame.
Matt's being inappropriate about his organ rising up from the stage.
Don't do that in the comments.
Not at all.
So you mentioned that it had creative kills in a Vincent Price movie, which there's a lot of Vincent Price movies with some creative kills, but yes, there's a whole lot of creative ones in this movie. 9, in fact. 9 kills in this movie.
Yes.
I would argue with you that maybe Theater of Blood has more creative kills, at least on the goofy side of things, but I feel like this did it first. This film did it first, and it has a pipe organ.
That's true. Yeah, so it's only fitting that you see this at the Colonial Theater with live pipe organ accompaniment, not through the whole movie, but at least in the pre-show. And it has been some time since I've seen Theater of Blood, so I'll give it to you, but I don't know if I can argue with you right now.
Gerald Harris, who's a great friend of Blobfest, is letting us know that he loves your organ, Matt, in the comments.
I'm pretty sure, Gerald, I thank you regardless of your intention. I'm almost certain he doesn't know me well enough to know my situation.
Before we move off of Dr. Fibes, can I question either one of you?
We still have more to talk about for Dr. Fibes, but
go
on, please.
Excellent. So, has anyone else noticed that Dr. Fibes is basically Mr. Freeze?
Ooh.
Yes.
But what came first, the Fibes or the Freeze?
I don't know what the modern interpretation of Mr. Freeze is. Like I'm thinking of the Batman the Animated Series Mr. Freeze, which is sort of the modern Mr. Freeze version of the mythology. That was definitely from the 90s, which would
not to be super nerdy, but he was only in like 6 episodes or something of Batman.
And don't forget Sub-Zero.
Oh, good.
Sub-Zero was a pretty good movie.
I bet you.
Okay.
I mean, but we don't count Batman and Robin because that we just don't want to.
What do you mean? Dash has an autographed picture of George Clooney as Batman in his basement cave.
Oh,
you okay?
Free with a bowl of soup.
Bowl of soup?
I don't know.
Who is this guy?
I don't know, but we can't get rid of him. He's still on the payroll.
I'm here forever, baby.
Oh God, we're stuck with him.
What else do you have about
also,
Dr. Fibes, Mr. McGinnis?
Yeah,
well, the thing, we have so much more about Dr. Fibes. We're going to be having a giveaway during the screening for a Vincent Price box set. And I don't know what's going to be included on that box set, but I mean, I don't have a Vincent Price box set, and I kind of want it. It sounds pretty good. Murdy, do you have any information on that box set?
It's the MGM box set. So you get Fibes 1, Fibes 2, Theater of Blood.
Wow.
It's just a bunch of good stuff. Like, you're going to love it. You're going to love it. It was
I guarantee you.
It was. It is. It's a great box set.
Are we talking DVD or Blu-ray?
DVD. It's 5 films, and then I think there's like a special retrospective on Mr. Price himself.
I feel like DVD is Marvin Murdy Murch's speed. It's very authentic, isn't it?
You're lucky you can find anything anymore in hard media.
That's true.
There.
That reminds me, has Dr. Fibes or its sequel ever gotten to Blu-ray?
They have, yeah. They're on the Scream Factory. I think it's the second Vincent Price set.
Yes, he is right.
Oh.
1 or 2. I'd have to get up and look. It's in the other room.
So there are, for folks at home who don't know and are like, what Vincent Price set? So Scream Factory released 3 different Vincent Price sets, volumes 1, 2, and 3. I don't know which ones are currently in print, but they're various to go out of print.
my fingers. Where do they? 1 and 3 are still in print.
Okay.
I was there the other day, and I'm going through looking for the good stuff, and I'm like, oh, I need 3, and 2 was not even anywhere to be found.
So if you find these anywhere, all 3 of them are worth your purchase. And in fact, I think set 2 is the set that has HD restorations of both House on Haunted Hill and The Last Man on Earth. Normally, those films do not get
I did not know that.
releases because they're in the public domain, so companies don't want to spend money on them. But Scream Factory did. So if you can find any one of the Vincent Price Scream Factory sets, you should just jump right on that and tell them Dash sent you.
Tell them I sent it too.
Okay. It was a team effort, like Double Dragons.
Yeah. The other important thing to note, there was a couple of other important things to note about Dr. Phibes. Of course, Dr. Phibes, again, that is going to be playing October 3rd, this Sunday at the Colonial Theater. But we're showing it the way it was meant to be seen. We are projecting this bad boy in 35 millimeter. And that is rare, folks. It is so hard to find a 35 millimeter projected movie nowadays. You're really going to want to see that. And
it could
not to
50-year-old print. We have no idea.
That would be even better. I got to tell you, when I was there over the summer to see Return of the Living Dead, and I saw those scratches and pops all over the screen, whoo boy, that did things to me. I'll tell you, I'm not afraid to say it. That really hit the heartstrings.
Are you finally a man, Matt McGinnis? Did our film help you become a man?
Oh, it's a kid's show.
Yes.
You gotta remember.
Right.
Jokes and stuff.
But it is true. I had my sort of come to Jesus moment during that film, and not looking back. Of course, we don't typically do these on Sundays because Sundays are our classic films, and we usually just kind of show the movies without too much pomp and circumstance. But Dr. Phibes is such a cult classic. And again, we're really kicking off the spooky season. So we decided, what the heck? Let's make a poster for the Dr. Phibes screening. So Marvin, Murdy Merch, do we have an image of the poster that we can share with the fine people?
Well, we're going to post it tomorrow because I can't figure out a way to share it with everybody.
Okay. That's fair. So
comments, and it won't let me do that either.
Oh, so Facebook is being a butt. Okay. So if you're tuning in the hopes of seeing a poster debut, sorry, I actually just saw that I was told not to mention it, but it's okay. I'm not looking at the right tab. It's live.
Matt, I understand that you are the artist on the poster for Dr. Phibes. I would like could you pantomime the poster for us? Could you describe the poster with words instead of with images?
So there's fonts. There's drawings. There's a frame. And in the frame is a doctor, and he's abominable.
What?
And underneath the frame are all these different clues as to how he kills people in the movie. I'm not going to mention them, but the fans who know the movie will get it right away. And then, of course, there's the date. There's the time. And there's the URL to the colonialtheater.com where you can buy tickets to this event and more.
That sounds like a movie poster to me.
Genius.
Sure does.
What are you doing talking to us? Go make posters in Hollywood.
I'm tired. Anyway, the poster will be revealed tomorrow. Tune into all of the Colonial Theater's social media pages.
On Blobfest. We'll put it on the Blobfest page.
We'll put it on the Blobfest page, and then you can share it to your heart's content. Folks, I am very proud of this poster, not to toot my own horn or anything, but really happy with how this one came out. I hope you guys love it.
Family show, horn tooting.
Really happy with how this poster was done. And I hope you guys love it too. I hope you come out, see the film, and we hope to see you at the Colonial on October 3rd for the Abominable Dr. Phibes, and that is 1:30 p.m.
But arrive early so you can hear the pipe organ before the show.
Yes, and get your treats, your snacks, and guys, we just can't wait to see it. It's going to be so much fun. I love this movie. I can't wait to see it in a big screen. So, a week later, on October 10th, we have one of the real cornerstone Universal horror monster movie things, but it's also a comedy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll get it right away. It's Abbott and Castello Meet Frankenstein. What do you guys have to say about this film? This is such a classic horror comedy.
I think it's great because you see Bela Lugosi under the Universal label playing Dracula one more time.
True, man. That's rare, right? He sort of peeled off.
Warner Brothers stuff. He's just somebody else. This is Lugosi as Dracula, and you can't tops it.
What's interesting is he's sort of, at that point, it's been so long by the time we get to Abbott and Castello meet Frankenstein, since Lugosi has played official Dracula in the Universal monster canon. Such time has passed, and culture has sort of, it's almost like you're on the beach running from a wave and the wave's overtaking you and you just got to ride it out. He's Lugosi Dracula as he remembers it, and then he's also the pop culture zeitgeist Lugosi Dracula, and they're mixed together in an already overwhelmingly good comedy. I tend to think of this as the only Abbott and Castello movie that's part of the Universal Monster Pantheon canon. There are other ones, but all of them are lackluster compared to this one, and this one feels like the Avengers movie that brings all of those monsters together.
Well,
Abbott and
this
Costello.
brings forth... Oh, now that I would see. I'd be there with bells on. Literally, I would annoy everybody in the theater. This brings forth a very interesting question about just this movie in particular, Abbott and Castello meet Frankenstein. Is this film, do you consider this film to be part of the original Dark Universe canon at all? Because I have a theory, but I want to hear what you guys think.
So I do. I definitely think that this one is the culmination movie. I know there's creature movies after that, but at that point, sort of Universal had sort of petered down, and we were getting the creature and then creature sequels and then Abbott and Castello movies. We really aren't getting too much else. We get an Invisible Man movie. So I think at that point, it's sort of running low, and this is this sort of bring everything together into one movie. And it revived it really, really well. Everyone loved Abbott and Castello. This was a massively popular film. So I think it is. I just think that it's the only one of the Abbott and Castello Universal monster movies that counts.
Fair, fair. Marvin?
This is the only time you have Dracula versus the Wolfman. What more do you need? I mean, it's not going to happen any time. And for me, you have Chaney and Lugosi again, but now they're playing their iconic characters, not ones started by somebody else, and then them filling in.
Right.
This is them toe to toe. It's like Stallone and Carl Weathers playing Apollo and Rocky. This is what you want. Not that other crap. Yeah.
Can we get Stallone and Carl Weathers Universal Monster Face Off? Because I would watch that.
I'd see Carl.
Yeah, I would too.
He's brilliant.
You know, Murdy, I have to say, so far I'm very impressed by your knowledge of film history.
Well, what do you want? I live upstairs at the Colonial. I got a nice room, not like Dash. He lives in a
Hey, let's not cast aspersions. I sleep in the dressing room that was used by great luminaries like Mary Pickford.
Yeah, whatever. I got a nice bathroom and a jacuzzi.
Who needs a bathroom? I hang out with the ghost of greats past.
Well, I don't use the bathroom because I'm perfect.
I just thought you were the most perfect bot from MST3K. I figured you were the perfect life model bot.
No. I have too many organs to be a bot, but I can't replace.
Talking about his organs, this guy can't let it alone. It's a family show, Matt McGinnis.
I can't help it. I'm fascinated by them. I have a brief theory I want to share with you all about Abbott and Castello meet Frankenstein. I'm not going to go off too much of a tangent, but hear me out on this. So in Bride of Frankenstein, we admit, or they admit rather, that the first film was the work of Mary Shelley and that the sequel is also the work of Mary Shelley.
True.
Right? Are we saying that if we follow the chronology of Frankenstein films and where Abbott and Castello meet Frankenstein fall in that timeline, that Abbott and Castello were created by Mary Shelley?
So not everybody in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is created by her, right?
Oh.
Well, are we talking the real Mary Shelley or the book or the screen Mary Shelley?
Well, that's the great question, right? That's the linchpin to your entire theory is whether or not this.
I mean screen Mary Shelley. The Dark Universe Mary Shelley, rather.
Well, we should ask our fans if they agree with this theory in the comments, because it's a very daring theory.
That's
it is.
Wow, that's great.
And it does kind of make you think. And when you watch like the Invisible Person series, because there was also the Invisible Agent, the Invisible Woman, and so on and so forth, the titles merely say that they were suggested by H.G. Wells. Are we to assume that he suggested them to Mary Shelley and that they're all taking place in this kind of bubble that Mary Shelley is explaining to Lord Byron? You be the judge. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Mary Shelley is very commonly considered the originator of the science fiction genre. She's sometimes considered the creator of the science fiction narrative. So you could say, in a way, that every science fiction thing that followed that, which would include things like The Invisible Man, that's a science story, science gone amok. You could say that those descended from her actual works as an author. So you have some merit there. Whether or not the universal ones are, though, that's an interesting question. Man. And does that make does that make Abbott and Castello, because it wraps up that universe, does that make them additionally interesting? Interesting.
Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you have some.
Not once.
Yeah, it's a mind bender. Wait till you hear my theory about the Cars universe, but we're not going to talk about that now.
Oh, that's a horrific theory.
Wow.
Oh yes.
Or how about the Grease?
Yes, leave your thoughts in the comments. And which one?
Grease.
Oh, Grease is the word.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Grease.
You want to drop that?
I have several words about Grease.
Can they handle it?
Grease is the word.
I don't think they're ready for it. Let's wait and see if we show Grease, and then we'll kind of circle back to it.
January at the theater.
We did?
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
remember Marty lives upstairs. He hears all the movies.
Grease and The Shining.
That's right. That's right. I wasn't vaccinated yet. That's why I wasn't there. But I righted that wrong. That's why I'm going to be at the Colonial this October. Before we move on, Marty, Mickey, Money, who are our sponsors for the Abbott and Castello Meet Frankenstein? We want to give a shout out to them.
Right, they're a lovely couple. They come to Blobfest. Their names are Dwayne and Mary Ziering, and they have sponsored Abbott and Castello Meet Frankenstein. It's very nice. We thank them so much here at the theater. It helps us bring these movies to our fans and our patrons. Being that they're huge Blobfest fanatics, that's Mary's favorite movie. We're very appreciative of that fact.
That's a great movie to have as a favorite.
She was at the theater. She just told me she saw the birds, and then she came to North by Northwest, and she had a Blob earrings on. Couldn't believe it. Out of season, but who cares?
A future Miss Blobfest in the making, mayhaps?
It can be anybody or anything. Well,
that's true.
Let's not go there before people start sending things in to be Miss Blobfest.
McGinnis, anyway. Clouds. Hey.
Sorry.
Oh, you're going to a dark place. Movies. I can see it in your eyes.
We have some other movies to talk about for October. Whew, it's very warm in here. Let's skip ahead to October 17th. You know what? I'm excited about this because I'm going to be frank with you guys. I have not seen this film. And if I'm going to see this film, I think I want to see it at the Colonial, so I hope I'm in the neighborhood for it. I'm talking about the classic film 13 Ghosts. Anything you gentlemen can say about 13 Ghosts?
So 13 Ghosts is a wonderful William Castle film. We've shown some William Castle films. We love William Castle at Blobfest because he was the king of the B-movie gimmick. And 13 Ghosts is no different. It has its own gimmicks and fun things with it. I know if you've seen 13 Ghosts with Matthew Lillard, from the early 2000s, it was one of the remakes that's actually quite decent, along with the House on Haunted Hill remake. They're decent remakes.
But we're not showing that one.
We're not showing either one of those. But if you've seen the remake of 13 Ghosts, this is a very different movie. The direction the film takes in the plotting is very, very different. So it'll be like a fresh movie for you. And there are indeed 13 ghosts, and they are all, that's sort of the only thing it has in common with the original, with the remake film, is the different ghosts and the theming of those ghosts and capturing them. So in a way, this is a Ghostbusters prequel, and you can't miss out on that.
Ooh. Nice.
That's true. And Murdy, I understand that we have a I believe we're showing this one digitally. Is that correct? So
yes.
what does that mean for people who may have 3D glasses at home?
If you have your glasses, you can bring them, but Sony, it doesn't supply glasses anymore. So they have a switch that you flip this hand, or not this hand, which you can't see. Yeah, they flip a switch on the projector, and you're going to see the ghost without the glasses. I don't know. I don't know why they're not giving the glasses. You get them when you buy the DVD. It's weird. I don't get it.
Castle would not be happy about that, I'm sure. But
if that happens.
The thing about that, though, is Matt McGinnis. If you don't know, William Castle's been dead a long time.
Really long.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure the movie could use one more ghost. I mean, 13 is not enough.
We did it at Blobfest, and we had the glasses, and that was like 2010, 2011. Anybody remember?
Right. So what Murdy's mentioning is 13 Ghosts' gimmick is it was actually, it's not quite 3D glasses. It used the same films from 3D glasses. You had a ghost viewer. And so one side of it was red, one part of it was red. It was a long strip you could look through, and then there was a blue one. And so the blue one was in case you were too scared and you needed to calm down and not see the ghost. You could look through the blue side, and it would actually remove them from your vision. You wouldn't see them on the screen. And if you had the red side up, you could actually really see them. You can see them a little bit anyway, but you really could see them through the red side.
Well, William Castle, he was a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
I love William Castle. God bless him wherever he is. What a great
we had a
master of gimmicks.
Remember that, Dash? We had that ghost that shot down.
Mm-hmm. That's a Merjo vision from House on Haunted Hill. We've also had the Tingler, and the Tingler. We actually had Tinglers in the theater for Blobfest.
Yeah.
It was a family show, so we sent them packing.
Yes.
We had a Tingler in one of the virtual things we did. Which one was that? We had a Tingler in the background. Nobody really pointed that out.
Oh, we did.
Was that the Krampus show? I feel like that was the Krampus show.
I think it was.
I was behind the camera the whole time, so I know I saw it.
The last year and a half is a blur to Dash, so
that's true.
And of course, we played. We're no strangers to House on Haunted Hill. We played it for Blobfest 2020, the home edition, and I believe it was one of the screenings back early on when this whole mess started, when the Colonial was doing weekly public domain screenings on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
And House on Haunted Hill is just a great flick, and I love William Castle, so I'm excited for this one.
2018 Dash, we showed House on Haunted Hill. It was like the last.
What's really interesting about Blobfest, and maybe longtime attendees can feel this way too and commiserate with Dash in the comments, but I have a really difficult time differentiating all of the years and the things that we did. So I'll be in conversation with someone and say, remember that time we showed the giant kaiju movies, Clash of the Kaiju? Oh yeah, was that like 2-3 years ago? No, that was like 6 years ago. Dash can't keep track of any of this. And it's great because whenever Dash sees you, it's like he just saw you. So it's wonderful.
Dash is like a goldfish.
What? Huh? Who's talking?
What?
What am I doing here?
Birdie?
Who are you people?
Hi, and welcome to the Colonial Theater's Talking October Horror Movie. Murdy, did you have something to say?
I judge it by T-shirts. That's how I remember which year did what.
That's a good idea.
That's fair. That actually, we
makes sense with your last name too, right? It's his last name, you know.
Sometimes.
Not always. Yeah.
Long year.
Marty. Yeah. Oh, yes, it has, and that's why we were so happy to get people back into the Colonial.
Can I interject really quickly? I know we have some more movies to talk about, and I know we have some folks chatting. I want to mention their comments, but Dash was back at the Colonial Theater for an in-person screening with a big crowd. Dash had been there after he got vaccinated a couple times, just with small crowds for weeknight movies. But last, we showed, it was this year, it was a Creep Show, double feature of Creep Show and The Fog that we paired up, the theater paired up with Monster Mania Con. And we did a double feature, and it was a packed house. And of course, Dash was nervous because Dash hadn't been around a whole bunch of people like that in a long time. but there was an energy at the theater that rolled over me, that it just moved me in a way that I really have difficulty describing. That we watched Creepshow first was perfect because Creepshow's an anthology and there are 5 stories. So there were 5 title cards, like here's the splash screen, and then 5 credit sequences where it was like a chance for all of us to remember how to interact as a crowd again. We all cheered at the title screens. We all clapped for the credit sequences, and you could feel the energy roll over you. Everybody's laughter at the same time. That was the first time Dash got to do that since the whole pandemic started, and it was undescribably wonderful. And I've had the privilege to do that since then with our Fright Night screenings and with our other screenings, our classic screenings. And these October screenings are just going to be that times 1,000. People are just going to be so in the spooky season, and you're just going to, nostalgia's going to hit you at the same intersecting road as Halloween spookies. My gosh,
yeah.
It's going to be wonderful.
I can only echo that sentiment when I was there for the return of the Living Dead, and the crowd cheered when the movie started. It was odd because I was almost moved to tears, and then I remembered what movie I was there for, and I was like, "Oh no, this is not a movie to cry during. Maybe cry with laughter, but like I don't want to cry at the opening of Return of the Living Dead." But it is
pioneering a new genre, Matt. The zombie weepies.
Ooh, the zombie weepies. Now there's something. Let's hold on to that. Let's coin that. Let's buy that URL. But no, I think what you say is true. I think we love an audience at the Colonial. Obviously, this is the way these movies were meant to be seen. We want people to show up to these screenings. We want you to have fun, laugh, cry, applaud, do whatever you need to do. Just leave the riffing to the professionals.
And put your phone away for 2 hours. It's like, I can do that?
Yes.
It's possible? Wow.
Yes. And then, of course, before or after the movie, you're on Bridge Street. There's so many great small businesses you can go out and support. The Colonial, of course, being just one of the many small businesses you can support if you come to see these screenings. But just come out, have a good time with your friends and family. I mean, what more could you ask for, right? And it's spooky. It's a good, scary time. This is the perfect time of year. This is like, I imagine this is what like people who are all about Christmas are like get excited for when Christmas comes around. Like, oh, look, a tree. Like this is like, for me, it's like, oh, look, dead things. Like, I think like it's the same kind of energy.
Look, dead gourds. We've also carved them up and displayed their corpses on our front stoops.
Oh, yes. Look, the barrier between the living and the dead is thinning as we speak. Hallelujah. Praise ball. Anyway, and of course, if you're watching at home, it means you love the spooky season too, and that's why we're happy to have you. So that's 13 Ghosts. Again, that's October 17th. Can't wait for that one. On October 24th, we have a very special event. This is one of those screenings that you have to be there in person for, because we are playing the original silent Lon Chaney version of The Phantom of the Opera, arguably one of the movies that really kicked off the Universal monster genre. And we're playing it with live organ accompaniment throughout the entire picture. Gentlemen, what do you have to say about this event? This sounds stellar.
It's pure October Halloween right there. You can't tell it. Live music, one of the creepiest performances ever. Fantastic makeup, a true legend of the silver screen. It's bar none. It's a pinnacle of cinema, and you have to see it inside a vintage movie theater.
If there's going to be, if there's folks out there who have never seen a silent film, which is reasonable, like most people have not watched the silent movie, this is the way to do it. This is the most authentic way you can get. This is how it worked. Nowadays, a lot of times you'll see a silent film and it will have a soundtrack that will have the common music that would have been played by an in-person organist when the film came out. So to have that actual experience is like almost like time traveling. It's almost like time traveling. This film terrified audiences. And I don't say that so that we can laugh at them and say like, oh man, our movies today are much scarier. You have to think about the context and think about what life was like then and what they had seen by that point and get in that headspace. And there's nothing easier or better than doing that than having the pipe organ actually playing. Wow. I mean, I'm just getting all excited. I got to take a drink. Hold on. Oof.
I can say, I mean, I first saw the Phantom of the Opera not too long ago. It was I can't even remember exactly, but I did jump when the makeup was finally revealed, because even though I've seen it a million times and I've even seen the reveal a million times, to be so engrossed in the story and to even know what's coming, to just be on the edge of my seat, and there he is, that horrific, beautiful makeup that Lon Chaney is covered in. It's really like one of the most iconic horror moments in cinema. And to have a live organ over that, I can't imagine.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting is the organ, if you've never been to a live pipe organ show, the organ has this ability to mimic other sounds and instruments. When we showed Jaws during the summertime, we had Brett Miller, who's a young organist. He came out and he played a medley of movie scores before the show. And one of them was Jurassic Park, which is a movie that Dash saw as a 10 or 11-year-old. And it dramatically affected me. I mean, I think everybody that saw it in the theaters originally, like, it really was amazing. And I was in the lobby at the time, dressed as the mayor from Jaws, because Dash is a man of many personas. And I had to stop conversing with people, which again is a weird thing for Dash, because I heard Brett playing Jurassic Park and I was instantly transported. I had to walk into the theater and just watch him do it. This organ is transformative. Matt's organ is transformative. You need to be there. You need to be there.
It's all coming back to Matt's organs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Kid
I've got a notorious spleen. I will say I agree with you wholeheartedly. I saw I want to say maybe it was 2 or 3 years ago when Nosferatu, one of my top 5 favorite vampire films, played at the Colonial. And it was done with a live organ accompaniment. But what I loved on top of that was that a lot of these silent films, when you watch them projected today or when you watch them on DVD, they're all converted to grayscale. And it kind of takes away the effect. The way these films were supposed to be seen is that the film was actually tinted, so that if you were watching a scene and it was a sepia color, you knew that that was the daytime. If it was tinted a sort of aqua color, that was the nighttime. And if it was violet, it was sunset or sunrise. And Nosferatu played, and it had all the tinting, and it had the organist. And my gosh, it was the full experience of getting to see that film. I have not seen a tinted version of Phantom of the Opera, so I don't know that it exists. But even just seeing the film with a live organ on its own is so special and so unique to the Colonial right now. I challenge anybody to see a more unique film presentation in Philly, the Philly area at all this October.
Well,
Bertie, did you have something you were going to say?
I got 2 things for you there, Matt. First of all,
yes.
A little birdie told me that you're going to see that Max Schreck guy, Nosferatu, next year.
Oh,
yeah, I was privy
wonderful.
A meeting that was dropping some knowledge on us about what's coming next year. So, yeah.
Murdy, do you hang out in the ceiling tiles above their offices when they're meeting? Is this what happens for you?
I can hear this all over the place. You should hear the pigeons. They tell me, or the doves. I don't know what they are. I can't see them. They live in the walls.
They're bats. They're bats, and they live in the ceiling of the theater.
Oh, I haven't seen a bat in a long time, Dash, and you were there because you've seen the bats.
I remember.
Now, I remember. What the Phantom? I have no idea which version of the Phantom that they're gonna play.
Okay.
But Bernie Anderson, who is the organist that day, has his own DCP of the movie. So it's not even a Blu-ray or anything. He's got a version that he plays specifically.
Wow.
So this guy is tops. And if you go to the Colonial's website under events and look for the Phantom, there's actually a clip of him playing it. So
no kidding.
Very fascinated to see this because usually they would just say, "Oh, play this version on DVD and it's got this color part and this non-color part." No, he dropped off the DCP like 2 weeks ago, so we've had.
Wow.
Is it easy?
You wanna preview it? Me and you can watch it this evening.
What are we gonna do? Just like
McGinnis guy,
sticks or something, or no music? It's not the same thing.
That's true. That's true.
I could be there. I could do my own music.
That we could.
Did we make McGinnis hum the whole time?
Oh,
I mean, I got. I mean, I can't play much on it, but I do have this lovely pineapple-shaped ukulele. I could just try and, plink a few things out on. Like, that's something. That's spooky, right?
You know what? You would learn to be the Twilight Zone theme. That's very on brand, Matt.
That was Out of Limits.
Yeah,
that
right.
Was Twilight Zone. That was Out of Limits.
Oh, that was Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Good try, both of you. I'm regretting grabbing this because I used to know how to play John Carpenter's Halloween theme on it, and I don't remember it right now. So I could have really treated you all to
the comments for Matt not playing that for you.
Oh,
yeah, I apologize, everybody. If I can find the tab. No, I don't do Freebird, but thank you for asking. Thank you, Henry. So again, that is the silent version of the Phantom of the Opera, the original Universal classic, on October 24th. And then that leads us straight to the big night, the night we've all been waiting for, October 31st, Halloween. And we have the double feature to end all double features. This is such an exciting event. We will be playing a double feature of Frankenstein and The Bride of Frankenstein. Two of, I think, my favorite films ever. What about you two?
Oh, hands down. It's like Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade. You can't have one without the other. But it's so easy to choose the later film as your favorite. Because
I feel like you might have skipped a movie in there, Marty.
Love the craziness of The Bride.
He just keeps going.
It doesn't exist without the first one. It's like Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back. Can't have one without the other.
Yes.
No, love Dr. Platorius. He's and Una Arcana in the second movie. She's a doll.
All my love to
He's a doll. I'm learning so much about Marvin Murdy merch tonight.
Arcana, and then James Wales puts in The Invisible Man, and then she's in all these other great stuff. She's fantastic. I mean, she's so over the top that she's beyond the top of the mountain. She's on the other side of it.
So I do have to have you both draw lines in the sand. You can only pick one of these two films. Which one is it?
The Bride.
Bride.
Okay, why though?
Well, first of all, before I actually give my reason, I'm wearing my Fright Night pin that has the Bride on it. Because she's one of my favorite monsters. I would say Bride, for one, all the reasons Marvin Murdy merch just mentioned. It is such a weird movie. It is a strange film, but also I find that it's the one that humanizes the monster the most and really makes him much more of a sympathetic character, because you do feel for him in the first film, but it's the second film that really gives him that extra push to become a fully three-dimensional character. And that's what I love about it. And when the film ends, you really, really feel. I'm not going to say anything about the ending. I know it's an old movie, but there are probably people who haven't seen it. I'm not going to say anything, but it's a gut punch. The ending of that film is a gut punch, and it stays with you. Murdy, what are your thoughts?
I would have to go with The Bride for a lot of the reasons you said. I mean, the scene with Lex Luthor when, he's trying to light the cigar and he sets his hand on fire and then he said he was going to make espresso. I mean, tears coming down Marty's face.
For all of Marty's life, he believed that young Frankenstein was the bride of Frankenstein. And now we've just dispelled that for him.
Somebody was paying attention there, Dash.
We are going to have a talk. A different talk.
So while I think both of you are are in the majority opinion. Bride of Frankenstein is very widely regarded as superior to Frankenstein. But I will say, in Frankenstein's defense, that it has very German expressionist cinematography. The lighting,
absolutely.
So if you're not a huge, if you've not seen a lot of black and white movies, you might think, oh, hey, this is just a color movie without the color. But that's not true. A lot of the black and white films, many of the black and white films, have superior cinematography to standard fair color films that would follow, because they were working in a different aesthetic, a different mindset. So you're looking at, and they were influenced by things that we haven't seen, or a lot of people don't watch, like The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari as a German expressionist horror film, largely considered one of the big springboard horror films. Original Frankenstein, I feel like, has stronger cinematography. It has weaker characters because the focus in Bride is more on character development, and in Frankenstein, it's more on aesthetics, visual horror, visual, like the lighting and the set design is supposed to evoke fear in itself, and in a way that, well, I guess you'll just have to come and see.
Yes. And there's something interesting that you were saying. I mean, yes, the original Frankenstein is much more atmospheric. And I think partially it's because it has no score. It was a film from before film scoring was really an art. But what's interesting is that Bride of Frankenstein was one of the first movies to have an original score. It's got a really great score by Franz Waxman and a theme that'll just stay with you. Mm-hmm. And it is a bit more, whereas Frankenstein is a bit more atmospheric, Bride of Frankenstein is just a bit more, I don't know what the right term is, not surrealistic, but it's also kind of campy too. There is a camp element to it.
Lots of funny.
But yeah, and to be fair, I mean, good funny, yeah. And to be fair, the first Frankenstein has a similar sense of humor. I mean, Baron von Frankenstein in the first film is
the goiter on the back of his neck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The uncredited appearance by that other actor. But yeah, no, I mean he's such a treat in that movie, and then all the humor is just kind of blown up in Bride of Frankenstein. I mean, it's just exploding out of Una O'Connor. Dr. Pretorius is really funny. There's just a lot of what's that?
Exploding out of Una O'Connor?
Literally, like she's just this.
McGinnis, have we talked about family friendly?
Hang on, she is an explosion of just over the top comedy, like Marvin was saying.
True.
Her take. So the first time I saw this film, it was on TCM, and it was during like one of their Halloween movie marathons. And I had not seen it because I was such a huge fan of the original Frankenstein. I was like, "There's no way they'll ever be topped," whatever kind of thing. I know I was pretentious as a teenager.
Yeah.
And we get to that take where Una sees the monster that she believes is dead the whole time, and she does that take that I'm not even going to imitate because nobody can do it justice. But I was sold. I was like, I don't know what they're trying to do in this film, but I am here for it.
Una is divisive. Her presence is divisive.
Oh.
But I would say that it's integral to that universal monster universe.
Yes.
She's sort of like the Stan Lee of those movies.
Yes.
He does show up quite a bit if you're looking for her.
Yeah.
Do you think that Una O'Connor is the watcher of the Universal monster movies?
You could make the same thing about Dwight Fry because he shows up a lot.
I was just going to mention Dwight Fry. Yes, he's in almost every monster flick in that period.
He died young while they were died relatively young. So there is a point where you're watching these movies and all of a sudden Dwight Fry's not in them anymore because he passed away.
Right.
This was today. Dwight Fry would have had his own spin-off movie.
Right. Dwight Fry, What If?
Given him his own thing, and he just flies around or something.
So I know we're at time, but I did want to bring up that we've mentioned all of the family-friendly horror that's happening at the Colonial Theater. There's an entirely separate additional slate of not quite for your kids horror that we're also doing at the Colonial. It's twice as many movies.
That's right. And the only reason we didn't mention it here is because, we wanted to do a sort of special treat for the Blobbies out there. And Blobfest is great because it's a family event and we can bring everybody together. And that's exactly what we can do for these films. But if you want to see everything that is playing at the Colonial in the month of October and beyond, go to thecolonialtheater.com. That's thecolonialtheater.com to find out how you can get tickets for these events, those events, all the events, every last one.
Just live there. Marty and I do. It's been great for both of us.
Look, if I could, I would, man.
Look, clearly Marty and I are well adjusted. Living at the theater has its benefits.
That's true. So just a quick recap. So this Sunday, October 3rd, we have The Abominable Dr. Fives in 35 millimeter. On October 10th, we have Abbott and Castello meet Frankenstein. On the 17th, we have 13 Ghosts. On the 24th, we have The Phantom of the Opera. And on Halloween, the Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein double feature. Gentlemen, before we wrap up, do you have any closing thoughts on any of these spooktacular titles that are going to be coming to the Colonial Theater?
It's just great to have that many awesome movies and choices for an entire month. In case you missed one, there's lots of other things. I do want to give a shout out to AJ Donnell, who is watching all the way from Oklahoma.
Oh, my goodness.
He said he's never been to Phoenixville or the Blobfest. He's a virtual fan.
So, AJ, you gotta come out.
Our expanding universe. It's just
the Blobfest expanded universe.
I guess we're just. But two of these individuals who I'm chatting with this evening also know that there could be a taste of Universal next year.
Maybe.
So just really quick, off the top of Dash's head, rapid fire additional shows. If you're like, these are all great, I'm coming to all of them. I wish the Colonial was doing more. Just very quickly, this month, or the month of October, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Blade, a second Nightmare on Bridge Street double feature show on the October 30th. There's more of them. There's more movies I can't even think of off the top of my head.
Halloween 4, 5, and 6, all in the same night.
And nobody else is going to give you those. Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Who would give you that as a trilogy? The Colonial Theater.
And then there's Halloween on Friday the 22nd.
So there have been 3 movies in the same series called Halloween. You mean Halloween 1978?
On 35 millimeter, and 2 of the Halloweens 4 and 5 on 35 millimeter too. So we have one movie so far for Nightmare on Bridge Street, and I can tell you it's Beetlejuice, but we don't know the second movie yet.
You just my goodness, this is 2021.
In flux. The second movie keeps changing because people want to keep it from us.
We are going to have to, you and I are going to have a little talk after this, but we can only say that title 2 more times before we get in trouble. Before we wrap up, there's one other thing I wanted to mention for the Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein double feature. Marvin, do we have any specific sponsors for that double feature?
We do, actually. Dwayne and Mary Zaring has sponsored that film too. So
my goodness, you guys.
They wanted to make sure that people had the best possible October at the Colonial. So they sponsored, technically it's 3 films, but it's 2 shows, it's that kind of deal. But an amazing contribution that was so nice of them to bring us.
Unbelievable.
They will be at Abbott and Castello, and they will be at the Bride of Frankenstein. They are very sweet people, and we thank them so much.
If you see them, please say hi to them. Please thank them. Really, this is incredible. Your generosity will not go unappreciated. Really amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, before you wrap it up, Matt, there is in the comments there, we have got Scott Preston from Idaho.
What?
Oh my goodness.
Idaho.
Scott Preston from Idaho, and then we have Oklahoma. Look, guys, I get it. It may seem strange to want to go all the way to Pennsylvania just to see a movie, but you're not just seeing a movie. You're having a whole experience. You're getting an audience. You're getting a movie house that's it's over 100 years old. I mean, Houdini played at this place. Come on.
He's still there, by the way. He keeps me up at nights. He wants to debate things. It's really annoying in the dressing rooms. Dude, Dash needs beauty
Well,
sleep.
look,
I'm
the
not
next time.
or telling tales here. I'm not lying or telling tales. People were calling the theater saying, "Where can I stay for Blobfest 2022 this week? Last week."
Folks,
It's like, what?
if you can,
Mainstay Inn is right on Bridge Street. You're half a block from the theater. You want to stay there? You're close. There's a B&B opening up real soon. I don't remember the name of that because we haven't done too much talking.
The Murdy Merch B&B.
But options. But you want to book these places now because they're not going to be in July. It's going to be full.
Yes, Blobfest routinely, annually sells out. Book your rooms today, if not this week. If you have never been to Blobfest, Scott, AJ, we would love to have you. We'd love to see you. Please come by next year. Please say hi, and make a weekend of it. Blobfest is 3 straight days of unique B monster movie madness. 4, that's right. 4 if you play your cards right. And we'll talk about that.
Dash some overtime because damn, that's so exhausting.
You get paid? Anyway.
No, I don't get paid. I get paid in gin.
Oh, that explains a lot.
And we turn the heat on in the winter for him.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah.
Thanks for that.
We do have to pay for that overhead. So yes, please, if you haven't been to Blobfest, come out. We'd love to see you, especially in person. We've done 2 virtual Blobfests, and they're great, but you know what? You got to be there for it. So if we can do this again in 2022, we want to see you there, please. So everyone, that is the roster of classic horror films that you're going to get to see at the Colonial Theater next month. It all kicks off October 3rd. We'll debut the Dr. Fives poster tomorrow. Any closing remarks, gentlemen, before we bid a boo to our viewers at home?
You did there. You could tell you're that writer guy who's typing on his keyboards and stuff.
That's me.
There you go,
Joel. To type. Matt McGinnis learned to type watching Jim Carrey in what is that? That's
Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. It's too modern of a movie. Dash has trouble keeping track of films.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
I just want to say I hope to see you at the theater. Come say hi. I love seeing everybody, and it's been great seeing folks at shows so far. The vibe has been good. People have been really chill at the movies that we've shown, even with big crowds of 200 people. Everyone's been respectful and chill, which is all we can really ask for in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Marvin?
Just come on out. We're going to have a good time. All October, it's like every weekend is a mini Blobfest.
That's a beautiful way to put it. Every weekend is a mini Blobfest in October. I love that, Marvin.
Yeah.
Cool. We should use that.
We're doing
marketing. Jesus.
Big thing this weekend. Dr. Fives kicks it off. Can't have Halloween.
Cannot wait. Can't have Halloween without Vincent Price. Thank you all for watching at home. Thank you for taking the time out of your night to talk horror movies with us, and we'll see you at the theater. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.